If you are dissatisfied with your current job, don't rage quit and end up with a job that's even worse than the one you already have. Take a calculated, measured approach to pursuing new job opportunities. And don't make your career decisions based purely on emotion. Don't make the wrong mistake. You really have two options: improve your current position or find a new job opportunity. In either case, you can use a feedback loop, which is a process that helps people give feedback in a way that's both honest and compassionate by soliciting feedback through active listening, analyzing and synthesizing the issue, sharing feedback, and encouraging a response.
For some quick wins, we're going to show you 5 applications of a feedback loop to boost your situational awareness with some questions to ask in a job or internship interview to determine if a prospective employer's culture is supportive of psychological safety.
Now, we know that sounds like a mouthful, but hang around and we're going to explain everything. Number 1, feedback culture. Before we can talk about the feedback culture of an organization, we need to understand what a feedback loop is. A feedback loop is a process that helps people give feedback in a way that's both honest and compassionate by soliciting feedback through active listening, analyzing and synthesizing the issue, sharing feedback, and encouraging a response. The big question is it kind and gentle feedback or harsh and critical criticism?
Yeah, that's an approach that managers tend to take when they're giving feedback to someone. They will start off by saying, "You've been doing a really great job here, and we really value your contributions to the organization. But there are some things that you need to work on," and they will list those things. And then they will wrap it up by saying, "But if you do those corrective things, you'll be in great shape to continue to grow and contribute even greater to this corporation."
That's basically what we call the Oreo sandwich. It's
Right.
the outsides and the stuffing. And the stuffing is not always the good stuff. So here's some good questions you should ask during the interview when it's an appropriate time. Can you provide an example of how feedback was given to someone in this type of position before? What is the level of feedback given? Is it micromanaged, constant critique, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, or never? Remember, it's all about timing. Don't ask the question until they say, "Do you have any questions for me that I can answer?"
By the way, the same questions can be asked in your current workplace to improve the well-being of you and your coworkers and reduce your stress and burnout.
Number 2, open communication. How do you know if the workplace is one where you can say what you want without retaliation?
Yeah, so the answer to that question is you don't. This means you have to be respectful of who you're talking to.
Now, these are some questions you should ask when you're allowed to ask those questions.
How are differing opinions handled in team discussions or meetings? So what channels or platforms are available for employees to voice their concerns? Emails, texts, blogs, memos, face-to-face, or private chats?
Number 3, recognition and appreciation. How does the company recognize and celebrate success or achievements is a great question to ask in an interview. A lot of people are afraid to ask that because it seems like you already got the job, but it's something that you should ask ahead of time. Other questions are, how are contributions valued, especially those that might be less visible?
Right. So this is something that's very, very important because there tends to be two words that are bandied about when you talk about really productive employees: superstars or rock stars. And most people use those words interchangeably as if they're the same thing. They're not really. Superstars are your hard chargers, your highly motivated, upwardly mobile people in the organization. And they're the ones that tend to get all the recognition, all the glory, and all the glamorous assignments. But really, the rock stars are the foundation of the corporation. They're the ones that keep the day-to-day business flowing. So you have to take care of your rock stars, or else the superstars won't really have a platform to launch themselves from. So you want to ask yourself, are you more of a superstar or are you more of a rock star? Because that is going to provide the setting for the kinds of questions that you want to ask during the interview process or of your current management, which will help with your personal growth and development.
Number 4, personal growth and development. These are the questions you should ask when you're allowed to ask those questions. How does the company support professional development or continuous learning? Are there optional training seminars or workshops, or is it a mandatory condition of employment? Are there opportunities for employees to lead or take on projects outside their primary roles, or are you expected to for promotion opportunities?
Yeah, that was kind of an issue where I worked. And again, it goes back to being rock stars or superstars. Your rock stars are busy enough, they're keeping things afloat. So they don't necessarily have the capacity to take on those outside assignments, where the superstars want those things. You want to find out whether you're expected to do those things if you really want to advance within the company, because that might be counter to the work-life balance you want to establish for yourself.
Number 5, work-life balance.
Hey, Steve, why is work always first?
Oh, good point. I don't know. We wake up in the morning and we don't go to work right away. Well, I do, but most people don't.
Yeah, you were born with a job, right? You were born to life. Life came first, right? So why do we say work-life balance? It should be life-work balance, but
This doesn't flow right.
besides. Yeah, it doesn't flow right. That's besides. Everybody knows it's work-life balance.
So here's these questions that you should ask about work-life balance. How does the company support work-life balance? Don't try to make it funny like we did and say life-work balance.
Life-work balance.
Always put
They won't know what you're talking about.
And another good question is, are employees encouraged to set boundaries between work and personal time?
Yeah, it's harder to draw that line, that distinction. In the gig economy, it seems like you're always working, you're always on the clock, you're always hustling, right? You've got your side gig you're doing besides your day job. It's difficult to set those boundaries. You want to know if the company is going to be supportive of you outside of work, your whole person, and not just the person you are at work.
Well, now that you've heard the 5 feedback loop application examples, let's make sure we review what exactly psychological safety is and isn't. According to Kim Scott in her book, Radical Candor, psychological safety occurs when the members of a team care personally and challenge directly. That means no gossiping. Don't use passive aggressive behavior. Don't project your biases onto other people. And just recognize that people have biases, whether they're good or bad. And if those biases do come out and you feel that you need to rage back, directly and respectfully challenge them with this question. What do you mean by that? As long as someone is not doing direct harm or being openly disrespectful to you, use your words and be effective in what you're communicating. Remember that to effectively communicate with your team or coworkers means that there has to be shared meaning to what's being discussed. Speaking of discussing things, if you found that we offered some good advice on the feedback loop applications, leave us your feedback in the comments below and watch the video on your screen next, because that's the one YouTube thinks you'll get the most value out of. We'll see you online soon.